let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. We are talking about demons. Very interesting stuff. Now, here's what I'm going to do, okay? Because we always think of demons and evil, but we never think about it in a whole range of ways. It's kind of just like movie style demon that comes out of nowhere. It's evil, appears for no reason, and is coming after us. You know, some people in the Christian belief feel like the enemy is attacking me, things of that nature. But I want to talk about it in a different way, in that way as well, but in a different way. So I'm going to go through some stuff. Rogan talks about it with his guests, and I love the way that he talks about it. Okay. So I'm going to play that. Then I'm going to show you some instances of what I feel, I don't want to say demonic possession, but I want to say these are instances where we never think of it as being demon-like or demon possession, you know? And then I'm going to show you a clip of, or first I'm going to show you a guy talking about the ways that demons can enter into your life. And then I'm going to end it with something that if you're an avid watcher of the show, you've heard it before, Jordan Peterson talking about a certain way that I think evil and demons can enter your life that we don't think about too often. So I'm going to start with the Rogan clip, and then I'm going to jump into the rest of it. But this is a put on your tinfoil Speedo, okay? This is a tinfoil through and through episode, okay? Let's jump right in.
Expressed nest of giants.
Yeah, so this American
Jesus
dork.
Christ.
Look at this regular sized dork. He's gonna go and hang out with these massive dudes that go to this powerlifting gym.
Damn, Vice used to be like really awesome.
Oh, Vice was the best, dude.
Yeah, there was a time when Vice was like putting out the best content.
Oh, they had amazing things, and they took these like Williamsburg nerds and they sent them all over the world with flak jackets on it.
Yeah, you saw some like interesting. Vice showed you like sides of the world that you can see.
What's the size of these guys? It's hard to tell in this picture, like, but you'll see like some of them.
Jesus,
like, carrying cars. They're carrying
cars.
cars. Look at this. See who carries the car the quickest. It's so insane.
And also his name is Magnus Ver Magnuson.
Yeah, they always have names like that.
Yeah.
They always have names like that. I mean, they were the Vikings, man.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Crazy. You know, I mean, just the Genghis Khan thing, the fact that a giant percentage of people that are alive today have his DNA.
Yeah. Yeah, and like he killed enough people to like change the climate of the world. It's so wild. It's so wild.
He killed so many people that you could see it in the carbon footprint of Earth. There was a regreening of areas that's directly attributed to him burning everything down and like destroying cities.
He has one of the hardest quotes of all time where he goes, it's something along the lines of like, you guys must be great sinners because God would have never sent a punishment like me upon you if you didn't sin. Yeah. Such a like, damn, bro.
Isn't that wild? That's how he justified everything he did.
That's a way to do it.
How crazy is that?
That's a way to do it.
How crazy is thinking like that?
Yeah,
it must be terrible if God sent me to get you.
Because I am God's punishment. First of all, it'd be a great nickname for a fighter. Yeah. God's punishment. That would be a phenomenal nickname for a fighter.
Also, but if you really think like that, what ultimate justification to one of the greatest mass murderers in history?
Right. The
dude killed 10% of the population of Earth during his lifetime.
And he felt like he was on the side of the gods.
Of course. God sent me to do this.
Yeah, that's
power.
Power
in the demons. The demons.
They run everything, man.
Yeah, demons are real. They get in your head and they get you to do evil, horrible things.
And they make you feel like, no, I'm doing this because I'm supposed to.
Imagine if that's really what's going on. All bad deeds are just demons. Just demons sneaking into people's brains.
Oh, man, we would like to believe that it was something.
Forcing you to rob a liquor store. Forcing you to put that ski mask on. The demons want you to do it.
We would like to believe that's anything other than us, but that's us.
I know, but why? What is it? What is the thing that makes a person do it? Imagine if it's a demon. Because we don't really know what the thing is. We know, look, evil exists, right? Good exists. We know evil acts exist, and we know good acts exist. But we don't want to believe that there's any sort of supernatural aspect to it.
Right. There's no.
That's the quote. Like the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you believe that he doesn't exist.
Ooh, so I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So me being like, no, that's just us, is like the devil being like, no, I'm not here.
Yeah,
I'm not here.
This
I'm
is
not
all
here.
on you guys. This is all on you. It's all on you. But if demons were real, we wouldn't believe, just like we don't believe in government corruption, just like we don't believe in a lot of things, just like we don't
wouldn't want
believe the
that.
pharmaceutical drug companies fuck us over, just like we don't believe in false flags or conspiracy theories. It's the same thing. We wouldn't believe in demons either. Like, oh, come on. The same people who don't believe in conspiracies also don't believe in demons. Well, conspiracies are real as okay, so
That's such a funny way
if
to.
you don't believe in them, then I don't trust I don't trust your worldview. If you don't think
Right.
conspiracies exist, if you're one of these, oh, I think everything has a simple reason for it. This is you. You got blinders on. That's crazy.
Or the information you're being fed is done without any sort of malice or
Yeah.
any sort of agenda.
Well, yeah, there's no conspiring. That's crazy. There's no it's almost all conspiring. When you look at the history of just government alone, you go back to Smedley Butler's book that he wrote in 1933 called War is a Racket. Like he was talking about uncovering conspiracies as a retired major general. Like at the end of his career, he's like, my whole career was bull. War is a racket. So he's talking. So that's a conspiracy, right?
Right.
Gulf of Tonkin. What's that? That's a conspiracy, right? Like they conspired to pretend that there was an attack so that we would go into Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't they conspire to say that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction? It seems like they might have.
The Spanish-American War.
Seems like people might have conspired for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Seems like sometimes people talk and they get you involved in things you maybe didn't want to get involved in.
Right.
Enron, the smartest people in the room. Did you ever watch that documentary?
Oh, yeah.
Conspired like a mother.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Got Gray Davis recalled.
bro,
That's
dude.
like the first political thing I remember. It's like, whoa.
Right.
You can just recall a governor?
If the Epstein client list exists and it doesn't get exposed, perhaps someone conspired.
Oh, they're all in on that.
Do you think?
Yeah, they're
Don't
all
be
in on
ridiculous.
that.
What are you, a conspiracy theorist?
I used to say when Epstein died, I used to say like the meeting was like Trump, Obama, Oprah, and like Big Bird are all in a room together. Elmo, we're all in a room together. They shook each other's hands and like it's over.
Your problem is you let facts get in the way of your opinion.
So, just and that's a great way of putting it. The people who don't believe in demons don't believe in conspiracies. And obviously you can't blanket it that way, but you know exactly what he means when he says that, and it's kind of true. It's very interesting, man. But that's the exact thing. Hassan, the guy that he's interviewing, Hassan Ahmed, the guy that he's interviewing, right away, and we all do that. He goes, "Oh yeah, you'd like to believe that that's just us. That's us. That's us." It's very interesting. You know, from what we know, at least what's written in all these books that go thousands of years back, there is a higher realm and there's a lower realm. And the higher realm has entities, angels that will look after you. But for some reason, we don't think that the lower realm has entities that will come at you as well. A lot of people who are in the religious realm, they know, but we don't think about it. And neither do they. Even the people in the religious realm, they don't think about it in their regular lives, everyday lives. You know, some of us do. Some of us do. I know a few guys that do. Let's play this clip from this odd-looking fellow, and he's just talking about some ways that they get into your life. Okay.
Inheritance. It's the demons that get passed on through the bloodline. Or it could happen also in the womb when a child gets rejected by the parents. And a lot of times they have an evil spirit of rejection. The second way is the intrusion. This usually happens when we are young, growing up, and there is an invasion, an intrusion of demonic spirits that takes place through broken family or abuse. And the third way is through involvement. Unrepentant habitual sin or involvement with the occult. Usually it's the occult or bringing demonic objects in your life, or even consumption of those things and drugs could be an open door to demonic spirits to enter in and begin to harass a person's life, control a particular area of their life. It doesn't mean that the person gets completely loses control of everything, but they lose control over one or two or three parts of their life, and demons begin to harass them.
Okay, let's begin to tackle.
So that's very interesting, right? He said if you didn't catch the first one, it was inheriting it. You know, it's like a what we call a generational curse. I don't know if you ever heard of that. You know, somebody's grandfather's an alcoholic, the father's an alcoholic, and then all of a sudden you have a propensity towards alcohol as well. It's like a demon that just keeps on going. It knows exactly where it can go, so it keeps moving down the bloodline, right? And then there's the intrusion, like he said, those that could be various things. I mean, I know what I think of when I think of that. But then the involvement in the occult, you start reading certain things, you know, Crowley, you start getting into ritual, you know, things of that nature. And believe me, I have studied things like that in my past. I was interested and I read about it, never did anything, but I feel like I invited something like that, and I had to get, you know, for lack of a better term, I had to get clean during a ayahuasca session, actually. And it was funny because I didn't bring it up at all to anybody, but the person, the shaman who led it, he was like, something was attached to you. He's like, very weird conversation, but he's like, you have these chakras. He's like, your crown, and then I think your third eye and your throat chakra. He goes, something was like clinging and sucking the life out of those three things. He's like, I've never seen anybody with something like that before. And he was like, whatever you have been doing, don't do it anymore. And I was like, I already stopped. And it was just reading. It was just certain meditations that I was doing. Very odd stuff. Very odd stuff. Thank God for my sister. We don't talk often because she is a massive lefty. And also, we just don't have a relationship, really. Our dad didn't give us that. But she heard what I was doing, and she's like, oh, she's like, right on. I like that. That's that pagan stuff. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, you got elements around and you're meditating? She goes, that's pagan. You got a flame lit? She goes, that's what the pagans did. And I was like, oh, no. She's like, that's great. I was like, oh, no. So shout out to her. She pretty much saved my life, you know? But yeah, let's keep going. So here's some instances that we don't often think of as demonic. Now check this lady out. This was back when everybody was like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, eat the cats, eat the cats. That whole thing was going on in Springfield, and people stumbled across this. They thought this was one of the people in Springfield, one of the Haitians, but it wasn't. She's an American. Now, check out what she did.
For up.
On August 16th, 2024, police in Canton, Ohio, responded to a report of a woman eating a cat.
Go like this. Did you eat that cat? Did you eat it? No, why'd you kill it? Get in there. It's ridiculous. Did you see her eating it? She was eating it?
Yeah. She said, but if blood on her shoes, she said she stumped it out.
Yeah.
33 gun.
Well, you don't kill a cat and go to the hospital. You go to jail.
Southwest with,
Cuff her up.
On August 16th, 2024, cat.
Go like this. Did you eat that cat?
Now just check out the emptiness in this lady. Now, right away, we always just say, well, she's crazy, you know, nuts, drugs. That's what we always go to. But drugs are actually one of the ways that demons can enter your life, that these negative entities can enter your life. Habitual, all the time drug use brings you into the lower realms. Although it feels like you're getting high, a lot of the times it's opening you up to the lower realms and opening you up to, I wouldn't say possession, but something around you, sucking off of you, right? It's very weird. So you look at her, just empty face. People are like, yes, she was definitely eating. It's like, what makes a person do that? And how many times on Instagram, you're scrolling through, how many times have you saw something like this? Or saw someone get into an encounter, you know, a confrontation, and you're like, that person's nuts. and they look nuts and they're growling or screaming or whatever, what have you. It's animalistic. And you're like, how does a person get to that? You know, maybe you've even seen it in person. Forget Instagram. Some of you have probably seen it in person. And we always just think it's a bad night. It's just too much alcohol. But you actually don't ever consider that this person has something around them that is taunting and pushing them towards flaring up negative emotions, because that's what they feed on. Your negative emotions, your lower emotions, your jealousy, your anger, your rage, your sadness, your despair, your depression, things of that nature. We never think of that. But like, what was that, right? Here's another instance. And you'd be hard pressed to convince me that this guy is not some kind of you'd be hard pressed to convince me that this dude's not a demon. This dude, what's his name? Kenneth Copeland. Listen, if this is your preacher, if this is who you're reaching out to Sundays and everything, this is what you're watching, hey, have at it. But for me, this guy right here, I don't know about this guy right here. I'm just saying, I don't think this guy knows. You know, even Satan knew Jesus. You know, even the demons knew Jesus. Right? So you can't, I don't know, man. Just watch this.
Go ahead and play the compilation video now, because this man, Kenneth Copeland, he is on another level of being a demon.
Who do you think you are today? The more we learn about this covenant of God.
Said it like it was the most disgusting thing ever. Said it so disgusted with the covenant of God. I'm just saying. I mean, look at the dude. Does this look godly to you? I don't know, man.
What blood? The blood of this covenant. Glory to God. Cut the covenant with his Father God. Glory. That's good. Yes, like Moses of old. There's they're coming one. Oh. Don't ever do it. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever do it. Absolutely stunning. Just delicious. It's so good. And he will be like Moses, and he'll live 120 years. And he said, yeah. Preach it, brother, preach it, brother, preach it. Just before the cross. And we have a healing covenant. Dwells in me, the pure, spotless blood of God.
I'm just saying, this guy, I mean, listen, he's in the church. I get it. But he would become a superstar in this Church of Satan. I'm just saying, if he decided to switch sides, I think they would welcome him with open arms. Okay? This guy's very metal. You know, that's my friends who listen to heavy metal. They call certain things metal. This guy's very metal. He is heavy metal. Just the look on his face. But again, back to seriousness. It's always in places you least expect. It's, you know, this to me looks very obvious, but it's always in places you least expect. You don't expect it to be a man of God, but that's where a demon would want to roam. That's where it would like to stay, because then it could have a say over many. It could have influence. There's the word, influence over many. So it would attach to a guy like this, and he would be in the church, and he would buy jets from Tyler Perry. Go check what Tyler Perry's wrapped up in right now. And he would flip out on reporters. You know? Don't you ever say I did. You ever seen that? Should I even try and find it? Should I try and find it? Mega Church, Copeland. Look, one of the titles even says right there, Kevin Copeland Medal. I'm not going to do it. Let me just see if I can even just find that video. There it is. It's such a known video. Oh, is this Penguin Zero talking about it? Oh my gosh.
I hope you slept well last night, because you may never sleep again after watching this. I'm going to show you what a real demon looks like in our world. If I asked you to picture a devil, I think a lot of you would go to like him from Powerpuff Girls, like just that really classic red monster with horns. But in real life, that's not what a devil looks like. This is what it looks like. Kenneth Copeland. Cat playing with a toy. He was just like swatting at her or something to get her to stop. And then he gives her a random compliment out of nowhere, just like a rogue statement. You have great eyes. What the fuck is that? Why are you so unhinged? He's all over the place here.
Here's what happened. We flew in 21 days, 70 hours, 40,000 miles, touched 5 continents, and preached face to face personally with 125,000 people.
Do you ever...
What in the f*** are you yapping about? He's... Huh? What are you blabbering on about? That has nothing to do with...
Man, there it is. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Give it to me, Penguin.
To a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
He was so close to letting the mask slip off his face right there in that moment.
Letting the mask slip off his face. But, you know, again, you just never think of it in that instance. We just think scummy preacher trying to make money, has millions of dollars, an estate worth $10 million, has a private jet that he bought off Tyler Perry for like 8 figures. You know, you just go, oh, you know, he's a scummy. You know, some people do that in religion, but you never think, you know, maybe there is a demon that's powering that person. Because here's the thing, when it comes to this, they don't just take from you, they also power you. They will give you certain abilities, even certain stints of success. And that is to just feed on you more, because as you go up, the fall brings about more dark emotions. So if they can bring you up and bring you down and bring you up and bring you down and keep you on this roller coaster, it keeps them fed. Whereas if you just kept spiraling down and down and down, well, you know, pretty soon you're diminished. Let's go on to another instance we don't usually think of, but we've all seen quite a bit. This is Liberty Hangout, right? And I think if you guys know about Liberty Hangout, you know where this clip is going. Now just listen to this.
Shame.
Another one of those.
Shame! Shame!
Can you go away? We don't want you to be here. And you're really evil and mean. How am I evil?
You're racist.
How am I racist?
You're a white supremacist.
How? What do you mean how?
Your beliefs anger us. And it's as simple as that.
That's just the intro. I didn't even have to play the whole episode. You know what I mean? It's just this type of stuff. Now, this brings me to my next point of what we don't think about quite often when it comes to demons and whatnot, is that they don't just, you know, emotions, occult, everything that we've talked about, sure. But we never think of it as, there's so many Rogan episodes flowing through my head right now. But Joe Rogan talked about addiction one time with Duncan Trussell, and he talked about it possibly being a demon, because it is very demon-like. I know when I had my addiction, nothing mattered. You know, didn't matter what my wife was doing or what my friends were doing or what I wanted to just get high. That was it. You know, relationships be damned, push them aside as long as I got that going. For some people, it's way worse than what I went through, but it is very much like a demon, right? So, talk about that. Now, Joe Rogan has also talked about thoughts being entities. He's talked about this many times with Stephen Pressfield. If you haven't seen the episodes with Stephen Pressfield, they're great. They're earlier JRE, but they're great. Absolutely amazing. And you've heard about him talk about this, especially if you watch this show. He's talked about ideas being entities that come to you and they actually become physical through you, right? That's why the ideas come. That's why Stephen Pressfield talks about the muse and attracting the muse, because the muse brings the ideas, the creativity. So we're thinking about demons in that respect. We never think about thought processes and ideas being demons. When we think about ideas, it's already out there to think of them as entities. You don't hear that conversation very often, that they don't belong to us, that they come to us, and they're almost requesting to become physical, through us. But we never think of it being a demon-like entity that's coming to us with an idea. I've just been thinking about that since I heard him talk about that. We never think about, and thinking about protests. There are some thought processes and concepts that bring about demonic behavior, right? Like one that I'm going to play, Jordan Peterson talks about. He's talking about climate, and he's talking about what people will do for that type of thing. And he talks about how well-to-do, well-meaning people, compassionate people, actually utter the phrase, there are too many people on the planet. And it seems like a pretty good idea because it's under the guise of saving so many and the planet. But when you say there's too many people, well, you already know where that thought process goes. If there's too many, well, then what do you have to, what a person is, what has to happen to a person or people for there to be less of them, right? Think about that. Think about all the things that are pushed right now in the mainstream agenda and how if we moved away from just thinking they were woke or they were ignorant or they were silly, if we moved away from that thought process, and I'm not trying to demonize people as I say this, although it sounds that way, but think about it as demonic. And I'm not saying think of the people as demonic, think of the thoughts being entities that are demonic and are coming to these people, and they're trying to become physical through them, just like a great song or a great painting, anything like that. So, again, not trying to demonize as this person's on the screen with the no king sign and everything. But yeah, it brings me to Jordan Peterson. And again, if you watch the show, you've seen me play this before, but I just think, and I know some of you are, done with Jordan Peterson, but it's so wise what he has to say here.
Like, why push obviously horrible ideas for the planet and the poor?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Well, because you're positing it, right? So what do you think is the driver goal?
Well, I listen to what people say. Here's the most terrible thing they say. There are too many people on the planet. Okay, so who says that? I've heard people say that for 30 years. Perfectly ordinary, compassionate people. Well, there's too many people on the planet. And I think, well, for me, that's like hearing Satan himself take possession of their spine and move their mouth. It's like, okay, who are these excess people that you're so concerned about? And exactly who has to go? And when? And why? And how? And who's going to make that decision? And even if you're not consciously aiming at that, you are the one who uttered the words. You're the ones who muttered the phrase. What makes you think that the thing that possessed you to make you utter that words isn't aiming at exactly what you just declared?
See, that exact statement, that right there. And I like that he says the thing that possessed you to say it. These thoughts, concepts, they possess you to say certain things, that the end outcome is something that resembles evil, right? I've talked about this before in episodes where, Kid Rock was on Rogan. He was talking about war, and he was talking about this is what they should do, and they should take out this many people, and they should just be straight up about it. And the thing that I said was, he doesn't realize, like, when you say there should be American troops in XYZ place, that's a good thought, and you're trying to prevent the weapons of mass destruction or prevent this place from having a bomb, etc., etc. But what actually ends up happening is both can happen, because, a war can be won. But what ends up happening on the other side of that is a lot of death. A lot of people end up passing or coming back home completely wrecked. And we already know what the statistics is when it comes to guys coming back from war. It's dark, it's bleak. It's I believe it's like 21 a day. Something like that. I think it might even be more. It gets dark. But we don't think of that part. There's something that possesses people to say certain things, but the end result ends up being very dark. And we never think of that as demonic. We just think of it as people with dumb thoughts, people with smart thoughts, people who, and obviously, right now I'm touching on the current conflict that's going on a little bit, but put that towards anywhere in any part of the world. There were so many people saying this has to happen in Ukraine or that has to happen to Russia. And Trump was the only one saying, he was the only one releasing numbers. He was like, thousands of people are dying every day. Because that's what's actually happening. As you just put that flag in your bio, or, it feels like you're just doing the right thing. But at the end of that, I studied supply chain management in school. The end user, the end result of that is very bleak. And then it becomes exactly what Peterson said. What makes you think the thing that possessed you isn't aiming at exactly that? Right? You start to think somebody's just screaming belligerently. I won't play it again. It's too loud. But they're just screaming as loud as they can. Like some kind of banshee. Like some kind of creature. Oh, I forgot to even play this one. I forgot to play this one. You seen this lady on the plane? I'll play it in a second. They're talking about, that guy, this lady. Like, there's just so many things. We just never think about it. And how the thoughts, and again, move past the idea that the thoughts are yours, because they're not always yours. They could be coming to you. And what could be coming to you could be some kind of demon. But let me play this plane lady, because this is it's partly funny, I have to say. Where is she? There she is. Let's play this plane lady real quick for those of you that haven't seen it. But again, as funny as it is, you look at someone like this and you go, why is she doing this? This is a very odd thing to be doing.
Stay there.
Don't
Let
touch
me show.
people.
Touch her. No.
Don't touch her. Don't touch
No,
her.
this is where is.
Do not touch her.
Look at her.
Do
Shut
not touch
the
her.
f up.
Leave her.
Don't
touch
touch me.
Miss.
Sorry, I was muted there. I was just saying, I don't even know if I could play this with how violent it is, but she just ends up grabbing someone's hair. They have to subdue her. They have to keep her still.
On the ground. All right. Look at this fat lady. Look at this fat ass. She can't even look. You can't even see her stomach. It's horrible. Look at her outfit. Look at this fat ass. Hilarious. You can't even show your mouth because you're embarrassed.
You see, it's almost like if you thought of this as a demon, right? If you thought of what was in this lady as a demon, it's almost like it's trying to spread. It's trying to spread. It's like, let me look this person in the eye and say something insulting and get some emotion to fester there. Let me look at this person. Let me do this. Let me do that. It's like, let me loose. I'm trying to spread around and you're not allowing me.
You can't even see it because you're embarrassed. Shut the f up.
Who is Alana?
Sorry, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, ugly dude who's never gonna lay it again. Okay, I'm sorry, black guy. My boyfriend's black, so shut the fuck up. My boyfriend's a black guy. My boyfriend's a black. My boyfriend's black. My boyfriend's a black guy. You're joking.
Even the demon doesn't want to say the N-word. The demon's like, I still need this vessel. I can't, I don't want this vessel to have no one around. I have family members I need to feed on and whatnot. Yeah. Very interesting. And right now she's about to spit on somebody, right? It's like a modern day exorcism.
Oh my God.
It's like exorcism. It's so crazy. But again, it's just like, you got to just think, like, what is possessing people to do things like that, to act that way? And again, just like Hassan said, he's like, oh, that's us. And people, and there's people out there that will see these clips and say, oh, that's drugs. Oh, that's drunk. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. Is it? Or are those things just helping whatever it is that's around us that we're not seeing, helping those things along? I don't know. I told you to put your tinfoil Speedo on. I just wanted to bounce around some thoughts there. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing, and let me know if you've had any experiences like that. Maybe not you yourself, but witnessing things like that, where you're just like, I don't know what got into this person. I don't know what's going on with this person. Anyways, I'm out.